Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is International Master Shiam the Mandarin, aka Houdinovic, and I'm really thankful that you're tuning in right now. I know I haven't put out a video for quite some time, but I'm recharged. I hope you all had a good holiday season as well, and that your 2022 year is off to a good start. For myself, I've been training for a Grandmaster title, and also I've been making a lot of plans for the content, so definitely stay tuned for a lot more regular uploads. Today I wanted to show this game. Big shout out to Grandmaster Kevin Spraggett, my coach and mentor. He knows I'm doing this YouTube channel, and he thought this would be a great game to show, and I fully agree. It's a miniature, as we call it. It's 23 moves. We see the white side of Awonder Liang. He's a Grandmaster, and the black side is Justin Fink, who's about, as you can see here, 2119. So big mismatch, but it's not always easy. And Awonder really executed his opponent pretty flawlessly. So let's get right into it. As I said at the title, it's about dismantling the French defense. So the French defense is exactly the structure e6 d5. Black sort of allows white to gain space with this pawn e5 move. But now black sort of counts on this counterplay with pawn to c5 and trying to attack the center. So it's a risky opening because as you can see here, after a3, black doesn't have a dark square bishop, and this in particular g7 is a big weakness. Nothing's protecting it. And in general, this bishop can do some damage because there's no opponent for this bishop. But as you can see, white's pawn structure is weakened, so it's a very imbalanced position. I myself actually grew up playing the French defense as black. I definitely won a lot of games with it. So yeah, it's a playable opening, but you really have to know your stuff. And in this game, I think Awonder just totally outprepared his opponent. So we go into this variation with bishop d3. This is not such a common move. Now I should also mention that I usually play the French defense differently. I don't actually go into these complications. Yeah, so queen a5, yeah, c takes d4, bishop d3, now queen a5. Rook b1. So actually I'm kind of not spending too much time on these moves because, as you can see, it's already been played before. Now here's sort of maybe the first critical moment. So rook b1 is not such a common move, but black now has a choice. So knight d7 and then queen takes d3 check. In opening survey in a book, Grandmaster Manuel Berg recommended queen takes d3 check. And after bishop d7, queen c7, knight f3, and then I think he gives knight g6. But I analyzed this. I think the variation he gave was up to knight c6. I analyzed this, and for example, even something just like rook e1, black can't really take because that pawn's still under attack, and yeah, I just think black is still suffering here. So my view is just this whole concept of playing as black doesn't seem like it's a good idea. So in the game, Justin didn't actually take on c3. He played knight d7, and actually he was sort of, in some sense, they were following games that had already been played. Although I wonder if, no pun intended, if Justin actually knew about this, because as you can see, the results aren't good in this position. White 2 wins and 1 draw. and they were actually following this game by Sassy Kieran and Noel Struder for quite some time, but yeah, even up to here they're following this game, and yeah, so maybe I'll just pause here for a second. I went through some moves. So actually black has all their pawns, and white has sacrificed 2 pawns. So black is actually currently up 2 pawns, but and maybe that's another reason why this game is so nice, is that we see that material doesn't matter as much as the quality of your position. Keep an eye on this rook and this bishop. Black has a hard time, in general in the French defense, black has a hard time developing this bishop because it's sort of blocked in by its own pawn, and that in turn makes it hard to get this rook out. So development is one of the drawbacks of the French defense. And in this game, black was as you'll see, black actually never moved either of these pieces. So you're just playing down a rook and a bishop, and that's what I was about to say about these. Yeah, you can counter like that, saying that black is up 2 pawns, but in terms of the activity, white's pieces are much more active. So now actually black takes a 3rd pawn, pretty incredible, and they're still following this game. But this is from Gibraltar 2020. These are 2 strong Sassy Kieran especially, very strong grandmaster. Noel Struder, also a solid grandmaster. And now, okay, Queen F7 was played in this game. In the previous game, black played Queen E7, and actually I have the game open here. And this is actually interesting to note, because I'm sure Awonder has seen this game before. This gives you an insight into not just, we know you need to be good at tactics, you need to be good at end games, but you also need to be very aware of what's happening, in theory, in opening theory. And I'm sure Awonder had seen this game, because he played in almost the exact same way, by sacrificing the rook for the knight, and getting this set up. So I'm sure he was just following this game, whereas his opponent just didn't know this game. So that's a case where if you don't do your homework, you're gonna get wiped out. So yeah, Queen E7, and what I wanted to say was, yeah, I think if I recall, yeah, white had a strong continuation to play Queen D6 here. However, they thought that they can repeat one move, and black sort of obliged and went back to the same position, and now white deviated. Black had an incredible way to defend with Rook F5, and yeah, Rook F5 was a great defensive attempt. And if Rook G4, you take here, and then this is a move I really liked. I really like Queen E7. I thought this was very instructive, and in fact, it's the only move that holds the position. If you want to stop the queen from going to F6 and F4, so for example, if you play something like B6, I can play either one, Queen F6 or Queen F4. The idea is I'm threatening to take this pawn, but then you may think you can play E5 with the idea if you take, I can take your rook. But actually white has this nice queen takes E5, and the idea is if queen takes G4, this is checkmate. So black is just busted here after queen takes C5, and then yeah, black is just busted after queen F6. So you have to play this move Queen E7, centralizing the queen. Very important concept. Keep your queen in the center so it maximizes power. And now the point is after queen F4, you actually have E5, and now this rook gets hit. So I thought that was an instructive defensive stand. But still, I do believe that yeah, black was still not doing well. They had to maybe play h6, but this is not the kind of position you want to play as black. You're barely holding on, and again, you're playing without two of your pieces here. But queen e7 absolutely had to be played. However, in this game, black went queen f7, which is actually already a fatal mistake. And here again, we see Awonder play the same continuation of giving up the rook and not the bishop. And this is a very nice concept where, if you know the material values, bishops are generally known to be worth 3 pawns, and blacks and rooks are worth known to be worth 5 pawns. So why give up the rook instead of the bishop? It's just because you actually have this qualitative abstract evaluation that the bishop is worth more than this rook in this specific position. So in chess, it's there's never these rigid rules. You always have to judge the position and make a decision based on, on what's happening. So here, as we noted before, black doesn't have any dark squared bishops, and this pawn's going to come in, and it's just going to be a massacre on the dark squares. So absolutely, you want to keep the dark square bishop. Black tries to play b6, but it's just not going to work. Another beautiful move, absolutely beautiful. All of white's pieces are working. This rook, this called a rook lift, it's going to swing over to f4 or g4, and black is just absolutely helpless. They play rook e8, which is a decent attempt. The idea is to play rook g4, rook e7, and you're gonna lose the queen, but at least you'll have 2 rooks for it. So for a position like this, black will have 2 rooks. White's still winning, of course. Too much firepower with the pawn, queen, bishop, and the queen. But there's no need to rush. So this is something you can take for your own games. And I'm talking to the people that are newer to chess. Is you always want to, maybe one of the biggest mistakes I see new chess players do is they play too quickly. There's no rush. Take your time. Consider different possibilities. So here you would see that rook g4 with a very direct attempt, but maybe you can try something else. So Awonder plays h6, and the idea is you force black to play g6. Otherwise, I'm just going to take the pawn. You force black to play g6, and now this becomes a target for this bishop. Now rook f4 is played. The idea is if I play something like queen e7, I can just take on g6, and this would be a very bloody finish. So instead, after rook f4, he actually just gave up the queen. Actually in this position, you can just simply resign after rook f4. But he played one more move, and now after queen takes f4, black resigned. And I was just struck by this game because it was just sort of like it was almost a positional. I feel like you don't see this too often. White didn't actually make any amazing. White didn't actually make any very violent sacrifices. Usually, you may see. Maybe we would have seen this bishop takes g6 and the king side gets blasted open, and then you hunt the king down. But in this game, what we saw was that white had a very positional concept, which was just to play in the dark squares, and that was it. Just play in the dark squares, and that was sort of a checkmating attack. So It's I feel like it's a very beautiful game. Yeah, it's just this idea of that it was a very positional checkmate, a mating attack. It wasn't so. It was more. Yeah, it was more of. It wasn't so direct. I would say that maybe that's what I'm trying to get at. It's yeah, it's definitely a game to play over. Anyway, I'll at this point I'm rambling. I'll end the video here. I hope you enjoyed it, and definitely on Wednesday I plan to start a new series for complete beginners. So if you're watching and you don't know anything about chess, I hope you're gonna like the new series. And yeah, if I don't upload a video before Wednesday, I'll definitely see you back Wednesday. So thanks. Hope you enjoyed this video, and have a great week. Bye.